Hi YouTube. Today we're going to do a comparison that somebody requested that I do, the size comparison, and I happen to own both weapons that they wanted me to compare, so we're going to take a look at these here and see what some of the advantages and disadvantages are. So what we have on top here, we have a Wilson Combat Professional, which is like a commander style 1911, and we have a Sig P320 chambered in 45 ACP. Both of these are 45 ACP. And before we go any further, I'm going to show the whole YouTube world that both of these guns are empty and everybody is safe and nobody can get hurt, and we can continue to compare these two weapons. So what we have here, this is a Wilson Combat Professional. Now what professional means is sort of like a commander. This is a 4-inch barrel and this is a full-size frame, and they just call it the Professional in Wilson Combat. This is pretty much a standard 1911 with a shortened barrel on it. The capacity on this thing is standard configuration. It's got an 8-round magazine and one in the chamber, which makes a total capacity of 9 rounds of 45 ACP. And in the Sig Sauer, this is a Sig Sauer, this is a P320. This is what they call the compact size, and it is chambered in 45 ACP. And in the standard configuration, this has got a 9-round magazine and carries 1 in the chamber. So that makes a total capacity of 10 rounds. Now, what the gentleman asked me is to compare all the different frame sizes. This is a 45 ACP one, and I'm pretty certain they only come with the large frame size. So this is going to be about 2 and at the thickest area here, about 2¼ inches, and it's going to be right around 1.5 inches or so in thickness on this, and it's got a 3.9-inch barrel. I think at some point they did make a subcompact 45. I think that one only held like 6 rounds. I think it was very short-lived. This is the compact, and then they have a full-size one. So 3.9-inch barrel. It's very close to the same barrel as the commander size 1911. So what I'm going to do is show you them side by side. And if you look at these side by side, the 1911 is going to be a little bit thinner on the grip, and this one holds 1 less round on it. The slide's going to be a little bit thinner, everything. So all in all, the 1911 is a little bit bigger. It's a little bit longer altogether when you add the fact that this thing has this extended beaver tail on it. But it's a little bit bulkier of a gun. The Sig Sauer is. The 1911's quite a bit thinner, quite a bit slimmer, and you do sacrifice only 1 round. Now, before everybody freaks out, my face is not behind this camera, but if you look at them head on, the Sig Sauer is a little bit bulkier. The whole slide and everything's a little bit beefier. Now, some of the weight differences is this is going to be a little bit lighter because this has a polymer frame on it, and this one's going to have an all steel frame on it. So this one doesn't have any kind of external safeties on it or anything like that. The 1911 does. This one has an ambidextrous slide stop on it, but the 1911, of course, does not. This one doesn't have an ambidextrous thumb safety on it. You can get those on 1911s, just particular one does not. But this one doesn't have anything ambidextrous except for the slide stop. I believe you can take this magazine release here and switch it around to the other side and make it ambidextrous. You cannot with the 1911. So this is going to be mainly this is going to favor more right-hand shooters. Now, one of the things you can do with a 1911 is you can get a 10-round magazine that will stick down to about right here. I believe you can get 10 round magazines for this P320. I think the ones for the full size 45s will go in it, and once again they do extend down a little bit, but they're pretty similar in size, to be honest, folks. This one's just a little bit bulkier because it's a double stack gun, and they're very similar size. You got a little bit slimmer on the 1911, but it's also a little bit longer. So, you know, you got advantages and disadvantages to both. Now, when it comes down to quality, I mean, it's not really fair to compare these two weapons at all, because, I mean, I'm just here to tell you, this Sig has got one of the better triggers for a polymer striker fired frame, and when you pull the trigger here, it does hit a definite wall, and there is your reset right here. So pulls to the wall, fires, reset. It's pretty tactile. With the 1911, this is not even going to be fair, because this is a very expensive Wilson. You run into your wall right here. It's going to have a very crisp trigger, and your reset's going to be right here. So obviously you're going to have a trigger advantage when you look at the 1911. They don't make bad 1911 triggers. I've said this a million times, but this one's going to be a little bit more exceptional than your ordinary 1911. We're not comparing quality to quality here. I just wanted to show the guy, one of the guys on here that views this channel, wanted to see how this Sig 320 stacked up in size next to a Commander 1911, and this is about apples to apples here. 3.9 inch barrel, 4 inch barrel, without any magazines in them. You know, the frame sizes are about the same height. They're almost identical. The Sig is a little bit thicker. The slide's going to be a little bit thicker on it, but it's relatively the same size gun, just a little bit thicker. So if you were to choose one or the other, if you're going in the 45 ACP range, which you should be, if you're looking at carrying something, you should carry a 45 ACP. The 1911 is not a bad option over one of these. Now, reliability. This one's, of course, going to be extremely reliable because it's a reputable company in Wilson Combat. But when you get some of your lower and more cheaper ones, I don't know, you may lose a little bit of reliability. 1911s are a good option, but you have to know how to run them. You have to run the correct magazines. You have to keep them lubricated. This one's probably going to be 100% reliable and a little bit lighter, a little bit less maintenance and all that. So I don't know. I think in this, if you can handle the bulkiness of it, this one may be a little bit better option than carrying a 1911, just because of the weight, and some people don't know how to properly maintain a 1911. I do have bunches of videos on 1911s and how to properly maintain them and what to do here and there. So you might want to refer to the other ones. But anyway, folks, I wanted to show you the Sig P320 and 45 ACP versus a Commander size, which this one happens to be a Wilson Combat 1911. This Wilson Combat doesn't have any of the crazy mag wells or anything on it, and neither does the Sig. So I thought it'd be a really good comparison to show you. The Sigs have metal magazines, so does the Wilson. So they're very comparable. This is just a single stack 1911 versus a Sig P320 chambered in 45 ACP. Very similar size, a little bit thicker differences, but not enough to write home about. 1911 is a little bit heavier, Sig's a little bit lighter. One more round, you know, you have a total of 10 rounds in this one, you have a total of 9 rounds in this one. So it's up to the viewers to make the decision on which one you want to do. They're both very good options and carry 45 ACPs, and both of them you can carry backup mags with 10 rounds apiece in them. So if you have any questions on these guns, I have both of them featured in their own videos that go a little bit more in depth about them. This is more about the size, not more about the gun. So, have any questions, I'll feel free to ask them. I'll answer any questions that you want. I'm not an expert on this stuff. I just wanted to show a size difference. But thank you very much for watching my video today, and you folks have a great day.